Dave from DPS Instruments Europe, and this is our Series 600 Laboratory GC. At DPS Instruments Europe, we make custom GC systems. That's all we do. Sometimes it's our portable companion where you want to take the GC into the field where the sample is, and other times you want to take the sample to the GC in a fixed environment, and this is why we have the Series 600 GC. In the episode today, we have a customer that's looking for an air analysis. But this is a before and after analysis scheme. The before could be a BTEX compound, cyclohexane from the nuclear industry, or other small molecule. And they want to analyze this in air. Then their process cleans this up, and they want to see how low they can go in the part per billion levels after the process is over, how clean the sample is. So again, a before and after. We built this complete analysis into the Series 600, totally automated, everything in this small package. Let's take a look inside and see how we built this custom GC. This is our Series 600 GC. In some configurations, we have an auto sampler that sits on top, but again, it doesn't take any more bench space than what you see here. Everything is built in. In this particular application, we actually have a built-in concentrator and not a separate module on the side, again, taking more bench space, and one of those big elephant trunks that goes over to the injector. So let's look and see what this configuration looks like. We have two sample ports, one for the high concentration stream, one for the low concentration stream. And our cover slides off nicely, even if there's an auto sampler installed. We have a photoionization detector, but we can have up to 4 detectors on this configuration. We have a built-in valve oven, which has our sample loop and also the connections for our air concentrating trap. This is the flow controller for the trap, and as you can see, all of the sample lines are heat traced and very short to keep them nice and toasty so you don't have any cold spots or any carryover. Again, everything is completely built in, including the sample loop, including the concentrator, into this one small package, the Series 600 GC. When the GC boots up, the last method that was run is automatically loaded. In this case, it's the high concentration method. Let's look at some of the parts. The oven temperature program starts at 60, ramps at 15 to 200. The graph is at the bottom. The pressure is at one constant pressure throughout the run. If we look at the timeline, we're just rotating the valve to load the sample and inject it onto the column. On the detector page is everything to do with the PID. A summary of this method is on the run page, where the top is the temperature program, the pressure program, and the timed event of rotating the valve. To start a run, just hit the start button. After this method is run, let's say you want to run some low concentration samples, and go to the method page and select low concentration. These are automatically loaded. The difference is in the oven temperature program, we have a much longer hold in the front while we're taking the sample onto the trap. And on the timeline, we can see that our vacuum pump comes on for 5 minutes, then our trap comes on to preheat, and then the valve rotates to desorb the trap onto the column. Looking at this graphically, we can see the temperature program, the pressure program, and those timed events of loading the vacuum pump, turning on the trap, and rotating the valve. If you look at the oven page, you can just see what the current parameters are. The oven temperature is at 60, the injector is at 200. This is the temperature the trap is going to heat to 225, the valve is 125, and we have a constant carrier pressure. If you ever forget what the plumbing looks like, it's actually stored inside on the computer. Go to the system page, view plumbing, and this is the low concentration load where we're loading our trap using the vacuum pump to suck the sample through the trap. In the next step, the trap is injected and the carrier gas goes through the trap, through the column to the detector. On the high side, the load is in this position where we're loading the sample loop and then injecting the sample. Carrier gas goes through the loop, again through the column and to the detector. Everything is stored inside on the GC to make it nice and convenient. And again, these are our navigation bars. You can look at the oven, look at the temperature program, look at the detector, or look at the run page. And if you want, we can hit the start button and we're starting our run. And you can hear the vacuum pump coming on to load that first sample. Once again, the DPS software, everything is included. Okay, so how do you calibrate this custom GC system? We have two different sides, the before and the after. The before is filling a sample loop, so we need a gas sample for that, which can come from a gas standard or maybe something you've had mixed up in a Tedlar bag. The bag goes over the loop, you can squeeze it to fill the sample loop, or we could build in another vacuum pump to pull it through the loop for you. Pretty easy, but on the before side, you really need to have it in a gas phase. As far as the trap is concerned, we are concentrating a liter of air onto the trap. Okay, well, you can make a standard up in a bag such as this, or alternately, you can actually use a liquid injection and inject it right into the sample port. If it's this solvent is, let's say, methanol, it immediately vaporizes and the compounds flow and stick on the trap. And then you can get a very nice calibration curve using this method. Well, the other problem is that we're pulling air through the trap. And unfortunately, the air in this particular laboratory is not incredibly clean. So after you inject your standard, fill a bag with zero air from your tank, put it over the port, and have it just use the zero air. So now all you're seeing is your standard compounds and clean air behind it. So that's really how easy it is to calibrate this Series 600. And here it is, the DPS 600 series Air Concentrator GC system, where we built in everything you need to be able to do high concentration before samples and very, very low concentration part per billion level after samples. Everything is automated. The sample valve, the vacuum pump, the trap, the oven, the electronic flow controllers, software. Everything is included, everything is automated. You can let this run 24/7. Once again, on behalf of DPS Instruments Europe, I'm Dave, and I thank you for your time.